Dear student, today's class is Histology of Uterus. Starts with general anatomy of the uterus. Uterus is a pear-shaped muscular organ present in the pelvic cavity. It is the site for implantation of blastocyst, and in the uterus growth of fetus occurs. Uterus having three parts, that is fundus, body and cervix. The dimensions of a normal adult uterus is length 7.5 cm, breadth 5 cm and thickness is 2.5 cm. During pregnancy, uterus undergoes massive enlargement. In the picture you can see the uterus. The fundus of the uterus marked with F. The B indicates the body of the uterus, and in the lower picture C indicates the cervix of the uterus. Uterine wall is made of three coats, that is outer perimetrium, serosa layer, middle thick layer, that is the myometrium, it is the muscle layer, inner endometrium, that is the mucosa. In this picture you can see the wall of the uterus, the most inner endometrium, middle the thick layer myometrium and the outer layer adventitia or perimetrium. Starts with the most outer layer, that is the perimetrium. Perimetrium is the outer serous coat of uterus composed of mesothelial lining, that is simple squamous epithelium supported by connective tissue. Perimetrium continuous with peritoneum of the broad ligament. Coming to middle layer, that is the myometrium, it is the thickest muscular layer of the uterus composed of smooth muscle fibers arranged in three ill-defined layers. The outer and inner layer of fibers, muscle fibers, are longitudinal. The middle layer of muscle fibers, which are thick, are circular muscle fibers. In this middle layer, numerous blood vessels and lymphatics are present, and it is highly vascular, that is why it is called stratum vasculari. In pregnancy, there is considerable enlargement of this myometrial layer occurs. In the picture you can see the endometrial layer and the myometrial layer. The myometrium consists of outer and inner layer of fibers and middle layer of circular fibers. Coming to innermost layer of the uterus, that is the endometrium. Endometrium is the mucosal lining of the uterine cavity. It consists of lining epithelium resting on underlying connective tissue stroma, that is the lamina propria. The epithelial lining is the simple columnar epithelium. Before menarche, this simple columnar become ciliated, but after menarche they are non-ciliated. The lamina propria layer, the blood vessels are there, and also the simple tubular uterine glands are present in the lamina propria. In this picture you can see the lamina propria layer and the tubular glands are present. These uterine glands are lined by columnar epithelium. Now endometrium can be divided into two layers, that is the superficial 2/3 stratum functionalis and deep 1/3 stratum basilis. In this picture you can see the outer 2/3 is the stratum functionalis layer and inner 1/3 is the stratum basilis layer. Stratum functionalis exhibits cyclic structural changes in response to ovarian hormones, that is estrogen and progesterone. If implantation does not occur, then stratum functionalis shed during menstruation, but the basal layer remain intact, and after that reconstruction of new functional layer occurs. Now, arteries in the endometrium are of two types, that is the straight arteries or basal arteries. They supply mainly the stratum basilis, and second type is the coiled or spiral arteries, which supplies the stratum functionalis of endometrium. And these spiral arteries rupture during the menstruation phase and the bleeding occurs. In this picture you can see the straight arteries, mainly the basal layer, and when they pass casually the basal layer, they become the spiral. Now cyclic changes occur in the endometrium. The endometrium undergoes monthly cyclic changes in its thickness and histology under the control of ovarian hormones. In menstrual phase, which lasts for 1 to 4 days, when fertilization fails to occur, the level of circulating progesterone drops down. As a result, there will be intermittent dilatation and constriction of spiral artery, and there is rupture of spiral arteries. Thus, shedding of stratum functionalis occurs along with glands and loss of blood, but the basal layer remains intact. You can see the uterine menstrual cycle phase. In the menstrual phase, there is rupture of the spiral arteries in the extreme left side of this picture. In this picture you can see the stratum functionalis layer. There is disintegrating stratum functionalis layer and rupture of spiral arteries, and the bleeding occurs, but the stratum basilis, the glands become intact. Next phase, that is the proliferative phase, which occurs from day 5 to day 14, and here due to secretion of estrogen, repair of damaged endometrium occurs by proliferation of the stratum basilis. Epithelium is renewed by mitotic activity of cells remaining in the uterine glands of the basal layer. So at the end of this proliferative phase, the thickness of endometrium becomes 2 to 3 mm. Glands are few in number. They are straight tubular with narrow lumen, but no synthesis and storage of glycogen by glandular epithelium occurs. Spiral arteries do not reach the superficial part of endometrium and are less coiled. In this picture, that is the endometrium in the proliferative phase, you can see the glands are about 2 to 3 mm, and in the schematic picture you can see the spiral arteries, red color round arteries. They are not reaching up to the surface of the epithelium. So in this picture, in the middle, proliferative phase is there. You can see from the menstrual phase to proliferative phase, there is gradual regeneration of the stratum functionalis there. Next phase is the secretory phase that occurs from day 15 to day 28 in a 28-day cycle. It occurs due to secretion of progesterone. The thickness of endometrium becomes 5 to 7 mm. Glands are many in number and they are highly tortuous, and these secretory activity of the glands also increased, and the synthesis and storage of glycogen occurs. Lumen filled with secretion rich glycogen. The spiral arteries, they now become very coiled and reach up to the superficial part of the endometrium. You can see the spiral arteries reach up to the superficial layer of the surface epithelium in the secretory phase. The uterine glands, they are very long and their number are more. In this picture, you can see in the secretory phase, the long uterine glands are there filled with the secretions. The coiled arteries are also visible, and these coiled arteries, you can see they reach up to the superficial part of the stratum functionalis. Thank you.